What's up there, guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Derail Valley. So we are in the midst of a realistic difficulty playthrough which we started a couple of episodes ago. I've been having a great time restarting this game and I can't wait to get cracking with this episode. There's a few things that I want to do today, so please do grab yourself a drink. Let's hit the rails. Right then, guys, first things first, we're going to get ourselves into the station office and just have a general review of things. Now, just have a quick look at the wallet. We've got 28.8 thousand in the wallet, so we've done a couple of jobs. And yeah, we started off with a freight haul job, which brought us here to Harbour and Town. We went on to do a shunting job, and we've got all of our fees cleared at the moment. And if I go to licenses, see, so far we started with these three, which you get as standard, and then we opened the shunting license, which we've utilized in the last episode, and then I also got the dispatcher license, which I got in the last episode and was very useful because I was missing it a great deal, because I basically was missing the ability to be able to change my switches on the map, and was having to do that all manually in the very first episode, which was something different for me. So yeah, it's good to bear in mind, though, the licenses that are available at the moment. So Fragile is there, 10,000. Train Length, 10,000. Concurrent is 10,000. That's to get started. And if we move down, you'll see the cheapest next loco license available is the SO60 at 20,000. I did say we were going to focus potentially on the DM3, which is 30,000. We've got multiple unit license, which is 30,000. And logistical haul, which is 20,000. There's obviously also manual service, which is 20,000, and then there's a bunch of like more high-end licenses, which we won't be messing with at the moment. Today, what I want to do is try and do some more jobs using the licenses that we've got at the moment, get our money up. So let's see what there is on hand here. So there's one here for 53.5 thousand going to Iron Ore Mine West, and that only requires a freight haul license. So I'm going to stick attractive jobs down on the floor here. There's a goods factory in town there. That's logistical though. As we said, that's going to cost money to unlock that one. That requires a bunch of licenses. So when I'm saying that, the licenses are down here. So for this one going to Forest Central, we'd only need the long one license. It's 28.6 thousand and it is 180 tons, which isn't too bad, to be fair. So if we take a look at this, that's a potential. Forest Central is here. So it'd mean it's coming out of Harbour, heading up this way and up to Forest. So we could do that one. The other one, the Iron Ore Mine West one, is all the way up here, but it does pay more. And obviously when you're thinking about time bonuses, if you're factoring those in, the longer job actually is probably not a bad option. So what happened to that one that I just had? Oh, that's gone into my inventory, so maybe that's a sign that we should take it. Anyway, this one's required a bunch of licenses. We're not going to be doing that. Goods factory in town. Right, let me pop this one on the floor then. We've got Sawmill here, which is a long 29.3. I'm going to pop that down there. We'd require the long one license, but we could unlock that. We've got a long one here, but it's also a logistical haul. We'll get rid of that. Iron Ore Mine East, which is at the top to the easterly side of the map. That doesn't require any licenses for us to do that. 192 tons for 18.6 thousand. That one's a bunch of licenses for that shunting job. Logistical, we don't have logistical. I'm just going to stick all the logisticals together. There's some good logistical ones there though, but we're not going to be doing them. Another Iron Ore Mine West one. Now we could potentially unlock the concurrent license, but that's going to be 428 tons for those two jobs together. And if we look at the DE2, which we've currently got, take a look at the manual, you'll see the DE2 is only fit for 300 tons uphill or 250 tons in the wet. We know that those numbers are not quite right anyway. So I would say probably let's stick to the 200, 250 sort of range, just to be on the safe side. I mean, it is only a 2% hill that they're talking about there, but that's all you need really to totally scupper the job. That's a load of licenses. That's a long one for a shunting job. So potentially we could do that for 13.3 thousand. That would be everything done here at Harbour. So obviously you've got to think running costs as well. That's a long 2. We're not doing that. Long 1 again, shunting, 5.6. It's very low paid, that one. 39.1 for a long 2. Yeah, it's good money, but and that one's loads of licenses, and that one is loads of licenses. So really it comes down to these ones, and I think obviously this is the highest paid, 53.5 for 224 tons. Wow. But this 28.6 thousand is actually looking very attractive for 180 ton run, but we'd require the long 1 license for that. If you think this is probably twice the distance. Does it tell you the distance? It doesn't, does it? But you can kind of figure it out by the time. So this is 101 minutes. This is 167. And I'm not going to be getting the concurrent license because I don't have enough power to pull both of these, or any combination of these, to be fair. So I think I don't fancy Sawmill. I just don't want to run up there. And it's 336 as well, ton, that one. So let's put that one back. This one could be good, but it's still quite a long distance for the money. So the money's not as good as a run up to the west. And this one is a shunting job, 13.3 thousand. That's actually pretty well paid. But if you think about it, it's not that much more in terms of time, although we'd save a lot of time by shunting that one quickly. Maybe we should shunt that one and then do the forest run. Iscar tooling, 288 tons. Should we consider that one? Get the long 1 license. Let's have a look. See what the long 1 license would give us in terms of the deficit side of things. The downside to it. So it removes re-rail discount. Cost 10,000, and it's a boost to the insurance copay of 1.9 thousand. So that's not particularly good. And then time bonus deadline -2%. This license grants you access to orders up to 10 cars long. Right. Let's get that unlocked, I think. Right, that's given us a bit more availability. And let's find out where this is. It is a 2 drop-off shunting job, so it does have that obviously slight complexity to it in that regard. But I can't possibly be over here. Can it? When we do see some Iscar tooling boxes there. I'm just going to have a quick scan of this yard just to see if I can spot it from this distance. Yeah, it's not there. So, it's either going to be in G yard, but I think more likely E yard. So let's dash over there. This short dash is very interesting. Still on the lookout for more locos. And by the way, guys, just in case anybody's wondering why on earth I'm not using the mods, like the mods that have been suggested. There's a couple, isn't there? There's the mod that allows you to put your jobs into order on the table. It orders them on the table to make life easier. So that's one. And then the other one is the one that tells you where your cars are, which would be useful at this point. Well, I'll tell you there's 2 reasons, guys. Firstly, I do feel like it's cheating personally. That's my own personal feeling on it. Secondly, if I start running mods and the game gets updated, I'm going to have to wait for the mod to be updated before I can use it, I believe. I'm not an expert on mods, but I believe that that's the case. So guys, hit me up in the comment section if any of that's wrong. Okay, now on that basis, there's a picture for a stopwatch here, and that reminds me, I do need a watch, because we don't know what time it is when we're driving. I don't know what time it is now because I didn't look at the clock in the station office, where that's the only place that we can find out. So let's grab a pocket watch for 3.5 thousand. And what else do I want? I want a flashlight, which is there. So let's grab that. So that's, I think that's 10,500. I don't need any of this other stuff at this point. The only other thing that I would potentially be interested in is Steve's garage key. Now we could pick that up and go and get the slug from the top of the hill. It does actually operate alongside the DE2, or at least it used to. I haven't personally tried it. I think it would be quite interesting because it's based on a DE6, the slug. So generally it does work along with that, and obviously when using it alongside the DE6 you've got dynamic brake as well that kicks in that you can utilise. So there's two sides to that. But what I think we'll do is leave this one for the time being, because in order to utilise the slug with a DE2, if that's even possible, you would need the multiple unit licence, which we don't have the money for. I think that was 30,000, wasn't it? So we don't have the money for that at this point. Right, we've got a couple of items here that we'll put into our inventory. I'll move that back up there. And we've got a compass already, but now we've got a watch as well. So we'll keep that to hand, and it's currently just after 3:05 on the afternoon. So let's get this shunting job done, I think. And then we'll see where we're at. Because I don't think it'll take long. It's 2 drop-offs, but I want to get over this. I'm looking for those green cars. Where are they? Wow, it is a real problem actually, not being able to leap very far, because you can't leap very easily between cars. Actually, I didn't check the G-yard, did I? Right, we got these, they're the ones going to Iron Ore Mine West. Just looking for these cars. Green ones. Let's have a look. These are pretty empty. Right, let's check G-yard again, because I've obviously missed something here. Oh, actually, is it loading? Oh no, it's unloading. I'm not seeing these cars, you know. Unless they're over at C-yard, which would be madness. Let's just check D again. I might just make sure I haven't skimmed past it too quickly. Look at that, utilising the left hand there for, sorry, right hand for a little bit of zip action. Let's have a look. Right, I'm still not seeing them here. Needed a pair of binoculars to see across this dock. Should we go in the water? It's always a bit dangerous because if you sink, you're pretty screwed. I feel like they won't be over there. There they are. Okay, they're over in C-yard. I'm not even going to check because I know that that's more than likely to be them. So let's go and get the D2 ready. We're going to be dropping those cars off anyway into D again to be offloaded. So let's be basically ready to do that. We'll get a move on, I think, here. Get things started. Alright, let's get it fired up. So we're already disconnected. Let's get this off. And yeah, so when we go forward here, we should be absolutely fine. Right, let's get her up to speed, and then we can... Yeah, like I said in the previous video, the limit's here about 30 kilometers. So we don't want to be going faster than that on these turns, really. We'll just take it easy. We'll just kick her into neutral there. Not into neutral, but just the power off. We'll go straight on here and then reverse into sea. Hopefully this has given you a bit of a tour of harbour though. So there they are. So there's 6 of them. Right, so what we'll do is we'll get them, pull them forward here again, and then reverse them into D, ready to be offloaded before we validate the order. Some nice locos there. Couple of D6s, D2 and the 282. And then what we'll do is we'll set up the switches ready to go into D for offloading. Thankfully we're already set here to go straight down. So that's pretty cool. What is that green in the background there? Whoa. What was that? The very thing that we were staring at just disappeared right before our eyes. I've noticed a bit of that recently though, with strange artifacts popping up and generally the graphics. I don't know what's going on, but the draw distance doesn't seem as good as what it was. But look at that smoke there, it looks fantastic. I do wonder what it costs though in terms of performance to have that. There we go. Right, a top down. Right, I'm going to connect up and then I'm going to check to make sure we've got the right thing. I know you guys are probably screaming at me in the comment section, but let's have a look. So it is 45, HBSU 45. It is the right one. Oh dear. So we've got to go and take the parking brake off right down this bottom end. Again, HBSU 45. Yeah, we'll get this done. I think this should be pretty fun. You feel the weight a bit, like 288 tons. It's not much, but it's enough for the DE2 to be marginally concerned. Again, we want to be going really a maximum of 30 kilometers on turns. Really, that's probably a bit excessive. But you can see here, pulling 288 tons, that she's not exactly, you know, nimble with the weight on the back. So going uphill, which we would be doing coming out of harbour, is certainly going to be something to be concerned about. So I think that we should just remember that 288 tons is quite heavy for her, and probably on the limit, I'd say. I'll probably forget though, so we'll just bear that in mind when it comes to doing the next job. And this is the switch that we want to throw now to go backwards. Okay, I'm just going to go and check to make sure that she's clear of that. Not quite. Very difficult to tell. Can't wait to get the remote control again, to be fair. And that should do it, I think. I'll put the DE2 into reverse, just ready. And I'll just go and check again. And yeah, I'd say she's well and truly clear of that. So let's throw that switch, and we'll start to reverse, and I'll have a quick look just to make sure all the other switches are good. Right, let's have a look. So, putting our trust in the reversing locomotive, we are going basically now straight here, back into here, but we want to be into D, and then going this way, coming down here. This switch needs to be switched to the right, this one needs to be to the right, because we're going to reverse in there. So let's just make sure everything's happening. Yeah, so we're utilising our long 1 licence here for this job, and we will look to do so as well with maybe the next job, depending on where we're going. If it's the Forest Central job, that'd be great, but bear in mind that 288 tonnes is a little heavy here, so I can't remember how much that Forest Central job was in terms of weight, but we'll certainly have a look and bear that in mind. So she's going around to the right here. The actual switch indicator there is obscured by this one, so it's difficult to tell. Just kill the power there. How fast are we going? Right, we're going 20 k's. I'd say that's fine to take us into D here. Great to see this train just feed round. I love watching that. I see the cars start to come round again here. There they are. Alright, nice and easy does it. Just take it easy, really. And then we'll validate this order and then see. Obviously we'll offload and then we'll see where we're going next. Because we've got 2 drop-offs here. So similar to the last one, really. But obviously at this point we're just getting our money up, so we're just taking things nice and easy. Steady away. Alright, easy does it. We'll put her into forward so we don't forget. We'll go and validate this paperwork. Now we can get the offload done, get the cars shunted to the respective destinations. Obviously, same as last time, once we're offloaded, we lose a bunch of weight. So we're then just moving 5 empty cars, which should be absolutely spot on, really. So, we initially did a pickup from C2I. We've gone to D7L where we're going to offload. We've then got some cars going into G2S and some cars going into G7S. So, we're going to be in the G yard next, which is great because both drop-offs are there. So, we'll take a look at that in more detail in just a sec. I'm going to get these offloaded and then we'll pull forward ready to reverse into the G yard. And once we're offloaded, we'll just see which cars are at the back, because they're going to be the ones that are going to be dropped off first. Let's get to this machine, which is just here. Man, I do miss the longer move, the longer leap, the zip as I call it. Right, let's have a look. So we've got the rearmost car is CFF 478, which is, for some reason, not in the same order as what's on here. 643 836, right, fine. So I'm assuming that these other ones are going into 358, etc. for 3. 118 and then 624. We're going into 7. G7S. So the rear 3 are going into G2S. We'll check all this when we get in there. But for now, let's start our forward movement, which I say is going to be a lot easier. So we've got, what, 7 cars is it? Or is it 6? Yeah, 6 cars. All empty now, which makes life so much easier. Still got the same problem of not knowing when that rear car's passed the switch, though. Obviously not this one. Okay, I'd say that's it. Definitely past there. I'll actually run down the cars as well here. It would be great if you had an engineer that could help you, you know. You could hire an engineer who would tell you, like via a radio or something, if you are past the switch or not. Anyway, so we're coming in here from the west. So we're going into 2S first with the rearmost cars. Yeah, with the rear 3. Again, we'll just check that. That takes us into 2S. See, she's feeding around there to the left. We do have some cars already in that lane, but we should get these in, no worries. I'm going to give these a bit of a push. They are just about in there. That'll be fine. Right, so it's the 3 rears. So 1, 2, 3 are coming with me. So it's disconnected here that we want. And a parking brake on 836. Yeah, 836 643 and 478, and as you see there's a gap there, so that's great. The reason for the gap, by the way, is because when we nudge those cars there, they just roll on a little bit even though the parking brake's on. So forward we go with these 3 to take them into 7 next. And I'm just thinking, did I put that parking brake on or not? We'll check. That's the best thing. It's best not to get over to the computer and try to punch in get your money sorted without firstly checking. I should really check that car's past that switch, but we'll just take it slow. Going the right way, so marvellous. Right, that switch is wrong. So we want to be in that very far lane, that 7S lane. Right, here we go then, guys. We'll get these in here. We'll get paid. And that'll do nicely. So let's shut her down. We'll do the usual routine. Put this parking brake on. And just checking again because we've got time. 624 118 and 138 going into 7. So sorry, not 138, 358 118 and 624. They are in the right place. I remember putting the parking brake on. Let's check just to make sure we've got the parking brake on over here. These look like they've moved. But the parking brake is on. Why do they look like they're further forward? Might have just been the angle. I thought they were closer to the sign, or... that's weird. Right, okay. Let's just get paid. Leave this job behind then. Hopefully it'll accept it, otherwise we'll have to give them a pushback. See how we get on. Ah, there we go. Validated. So 19.9 thousand. That gives us 28.2. We'll clear our fees as well. So some fees here. We do have fees to pay now because our co-pay has gone up. Can we see our co-pay? I thought there was a way to do it and I can't remember now. So there's our money. Active orders 0. Co-pay remaining 871. So once we've cleared that, I think that means, if I remember rightly, thinking back to the start of the previous game, we would end up with only needing to pay 100 because our insurance covers it, I think. Looking at this job, it's 180 tons, so that should be manageable for a DE2. So I think that will be the one that we'll go for in the next episode. So I really hope you enjoyed that one, guys. If you did, please do hit the like button. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, I'd love it if you'd go ahead and do that. But otherwise, guys, please do take care of yourselves. And I'll catch you guys again soon.